Welcome to this week's episode of Midweek with Marceno. I'm Public Information Officer Julie Martin, and I'm joined by Sheriff Marceno. Sheriff, it feels so nice to be back here again in our studio, back to a somewhat new normal.
It does feel good to be back. I mean, 3 weeks ago to the day, that was life-changing. It really was, and to be back to that new norm, it feels great.
Now, we'll talk about some of the ongoing rescues in a little bit, but let's talk about, like you said, 3 weeks ago to this day, that's when Hurricane Ian made landfall in our county, but it wasn't always anticipated to hit like it did.
It wasn't. You know, when we look at this storm, I mean, all storms are unpredictable, and Mother Nature lets us know whenever she wants, you know, whatever direction she wants to go, she's going to go. So when I first looked at that storm and the projected cone had a direct hit up in Tampa, I called my brother, Sheriff Chad Chronister of Hillsborough, and I said, Sheriff, I said, you okay, brother? I said, it looks like it's going to hit you direct. Everything I have, all my resources will be coming your way. And he said, yeah, it doesn't look good for us. Well, you know what? About 6 hours later, he calls and he says, Sheriff, I know you called me, but guess what? He goes, I'm going to be sending you all my resources, and thank God they all did. So it changed so quickly, and what a hard hit.
Now let's talk about during the hurricane when it hit. We had to pull out all of our deputies' assets off the roads, but they were ready to go out as soon as that call was made.
We knew, once we knew we were going to get some type of storm, let alone a hit from Hurricane Ian, we deployed resources all over our county at every angle, from north, south, east, west, 260 square miles of Lee County. We deployed resources everywhere so that we knew once we were able to go back and engage, that we had resources immediately in places that we needed it. When we came back out, we were holding about 3,800 calls, and 2 days later, right back to normal business.
And I know we responded to those calls as soon as possible. Our deputies were so busy, but let's take a look at some video. Now, Sheriff, this video is as soon as the hurricane passed. Me and you were actually on that first flight up in the air, and some of those images, they just never get any easier to look at.
You're right. I remember like it was a second ago, you and I were up in that helicopter the first day after Ian. And I'll tell you, at a loss of words. I mean, you remember well, we were flying around and saying, oh my God, like look at what, I mean, devastation. And your heart goes out to the residents and people that were affected, and you say, okay, here we are. What does this look like for us now? It's moving forward. How do we react immediately? We cross every T, dot every I. What are our short-term goals? What are our long-term goals? Working with FPL, LCEC, getting our traffic signals back up and operating, search, rescue, recovery. Everything's going on at one time.
It was out of the gate right away, and let's talk about some of those search and rescue efforts. It went all the way from searching collapsed building, debris, even our waterways. Tell me about the determination and how we made sure that we did not leave a single stone unturned.
That's search, rescue, and recovery. I mean, that is, USAR was out in full force. All hands on deck, people from everywhere. I mean, Brevard Sheriff's Office, Wayne Ivey, Sheriff Chad Chronister of Hillsborough, Chef Grady Judd from Polk County. They're sending resources from everywhere, doing over 4,800 welfare checks. I mean, that's amazing. Over 1,100 rescues. And when I say rescues, this is not pulling a emergency vehicle up, getting out and walking up to somebody's home. This is like all-terrain vehicles. This is air rescues, water rescues. I mean, this is intense rescues. And again, combing through, all the different wreckage and devastation to make certain that we don't leave no stone unturned and that we get to everyone that's in need of help.
Now let's talk about current statistics. One death is too many here in our county, but we're currently at 61, and we have 3 missing people as well.
I'd like to sit here and say we have 0 deaths, but we have 61. And that's, that's not 61 as a number. That's loved ones, that's family members. It tears me up a little bit. You think about someone losing their loved one in a storm. Any loss is tragic, but during a natural type disaster, you always say, oh my God, I wonder how that family recovers from that. And you want to give them everything you can to help them do that. We have 3 missing people still. Again, that's another very, very difficult thing when you stop to say, well, how is someone missing? Where are they? Where were they? And again, our investigators are out in full force trying to close those cases out. It's just been a really, really difficult road. and the residents. They're great residents in this county, and the teams have come together to help everyone get through this as a team.
Now another number, 37 looting arrests as of today. That's people taking advantage of the great residents in our county when they're already going through so much.
37 people, dregs of society, okay? People they've gotten crushed. Their belongings, their wedding albums, their jewelry, things that insurance can't replace, okay? The little they have left, they're trying to protect, and 37 arrests. People come from all over to try to prey on the great residents of this county. And I know some people may take offense to what I say, but I mean what I say. You walk into someone's house, you will be carried out. We have law and order here, okay? We have safety and security and law and order. And I stand firmly on that. The great residents of this county, not alone this county, but this state, our governor's made it clear. We're a law and order state. I'm a law and order sheriff here in Lee County. And there's 67 of us in the state of Florida that fight every day to make sure that Florida stays on top with safe and secure places for people to have and to live. And, you know, looters didn't understand the message from the very beginning. Don't come to my county. The great residents of this county, who I stand with every step of the way, deserve law and order, and their families will be safe and secure, okay? Not going to tolerate it, and I'm proud to say that the men and women of law enforcement stepped up, literally, boots on the street, and take these people down.
Now, Sheriff, it's been 3 weeks of processing and coping and starting that cleaning of what has happened here in our county. What's one thing you want to tell residents and you want residents to know as we move forward and rebuild our paradise?
My message to the residents of our great county is clear. We took a hard hit. Ian was devastating. We look around, we look at Fort Myers Beach, the Barrier Islands, Sanibel, Captiva, Upper Captiva, Boca Grande. Some places are hit harder than others, Pine Island. But we're doing great things in a record amount of time. Bridges are being opened temporarily, the new norm, okay? And we're building real bridges long-term to make certain that we replace the temporary bridges with a greater solution. So my message to the residents is thanks for being part of the team. We're one family at the end of the day. We will build, we will be better than ever, and move forward the best way possible because everyone, it's all hands on deck. And I'm certain of you know, the law and order, the safety and security during the process. Just bear with me, bear with us. Again, we'll pull together, we'll be stronger than ever.
Well, Sheriff, we appreciate you taking some time to sit down with us today and the leadership that you have shown as well as we move forward and rebuilding our community.
I appreciate being here. Thank you.
And thanks for watching this week's episode of Midweek with Marceno. We hope you have a wonderful rest